This video discusses assault and viewer discretion is advised.
On the 17th of December, 1955, the most prolific serial killer in Slovak history would be born. Ondrej Rigo, nicknamed the Sock Killer, and the International Killer. Ondrej was born in Modra, Czechoslovakia. Early in his childhood, his father was arrested. Ondrej and his siblings were taken from their mother to a youth correctional facility, then an orphanage for a year. Not much else is known on his childhood. As a young adult, he underwent military training, as it was legally forced in Czechoslovakia for males between the ages of 18 to 27. Ondrej was married twice and had a daughter. A while into adulthood, he began burglarizing homes, and quite a few. After the end of communism in Czechoslovakia, citizens were finally able to travel other countries freely. Ondrej took his crimes international after that. He first traveled to Vienna without a valid passport, then bought a fake Yugoslavian passport under the name Nedokic. Using that passport, he went to West Germany to meet his brother. In Bavaria, he was caught using the fake passport, then was sentenced to 2 months in prison for forging documents. 2 months later, when he was released, he fled from a refugee camp to Munich, where he continued his burglaries. Shortly after Ondrej arrived in Munich, he continued burglarizing homes. Late June 7th, 1990, he entered a building through its open window, leading to a woman's ground floor bedroom. He saw Helena, the 40-year-old woman who was living in the building. The sight of Helena startled Ondrej, and he didn't want to get caught, so he took a 2.5 kilogram metal pipe and bashed her head in. Ondrej wrapped her upper body with a blanket, then did with her corpse. After intercourse, he stole small valuables from her house and put the murder weapon beneath the window he entered through. In order to prevent leaving any fingerprints, he wore socks over his hands. Late at night on July 31st of 1990, Ondrej found another ground floor apartment with a slightly open balcony door. Ilkaz lived there. Using a metal pipe again, he bashed Ilkaz's head in. He also stabbed her neck with a screwdriver, most likely during the post that followed. He then covered the corpse and began searching the apartment for any valuables. He found a golden necklace and some German marks, which he stole. The murder weapon and a sock were both found by German police at the crime scene. In September of 1990, Ondrej left for Amsterdam from Munich, planning to visit his sister, coincidentally named Helena. On the 27th of September, he snuck into another ground floor apartment through an open balcony window. He found the woman living there, Maria, and killed her with a stone. The stone was a 5.5 kilogram chunk of pavement cobblestone. He undressed her corpse, then had with her corpse. He stole a camera, a woman's wristwatch, 2 boxes of coins, and other valuables. He then went to the kitchen, where he found Slivovica in the kitchen. Then he drank it and fled the scene. He left Amsterdam, then went to Bratislava the day after killing Maria. On the 6th of October, 1990, he entered a retirement home. Ondrej found Tethys, a resident of the retirement home, who was 88 years old. He beat her face with his fists when she was asleep. The retirement home found cigarettes butts with Rigo's DNA on them. They also reported a rosary, prayer books, and 4,000 Czech korunas stolen. Anna Polonikova and Juraj Anatriansky were both in the same room. Juraj was sleeping, while his mother was laying down. They were in a ground floor flat. Presumably through an open door or window, Ondrej entered the building. He took a wooden stick. Juraj's face in front of his mother, Anna. Anna attempted to protect Juraj but was unsuccessful. He then did the same to Anna. Both Anna and Juraj. Rigo had with Anna's corpse and fled. Anna wasn't even living in that building. She was in Bratislava for only a few days for the New Year's celebrations, as they were on January 3rd, 1991. On the night of January 9th, 1991, Ondrej entered a building through a window. It led to a small locked storage room, so he escaped the same way he entered. He still tried other windows. He found an apartment building on Kutuzovova Street, so he entered the building through a ventilation window above a door. Jana, the woman living in that apartment, went to bed at around midnight, but was awoken to the sight of a man standing by her bed.
I woke up to a bang on my head and saw a man standing by my bed. At first, I thought I was dreaming because I live alone, but when I received another blow to the head, I woke up and saw the wooden handle of the hoe that Rigo had found outside in the yard. It had cracked because it was moldy.
Jana jumped from her bed and started defending herself in any way she could, starting with a piece of wood. She had been practicing and learning karate 4 years before the attack, so she was able to fend off Ondrej. Rigo tried running for the door, unlocking it from inside. Jana threw a chair at him. He was wrestling Jana in the kitchen onto a hot gas oven.
The skin on my legs and stomach started to burn.
They fell to the ground, still wrestling. Rigo stood up and started punching her face. Jana grabbed his genitals and squeezed them.
He was just trying to gouge out my eye.
Most of the fight was in silence. Rigo ran out of the apartment, assuming it would be better he left than continued fighting. Jana alerted her neighbor by banging on the walls, yelling to call the police. A different neighbor was awoken by her son hearing the yells, so the mother found Jana. She was still in shock after being beaten. The neighbor called the police and told them that he heard weird noises, but assumed that Jana was framing pictures that night. After the attack, it took weeks for her to recover and heal physically. Allegedly, after the attack she had to keep lights on during the night and adopted a pet dog.
Why should I move? Where is it safer? In Petrizalka? Rigo's not interested in me. I have no trauma from him. I don't feel anything. He doesn't mean anything to me. I don't want to talk about him, read about him, or know anything about him.
More than 90 days later, on the 25th of April, Ondrej went back to the same street where Anna and her son Jiraj. He found another apartment, removed the window screen, and climbed in the building. Rigo saw Helena, a 79-year-old, and he cut her head with a piece of concrete. July 14th, Ondrej entered yet another Bratislava apartment through a window, which was left open, probably due to the heat. A 22-year-old woman, Henrietta, was playing guitar late that night. Henrietta's grandmother was in the apartment too, but she was nearly deaf, so she could not hear the attack as it happened. Ondrej smashed Henrietta's head in, then and robbed her. Initially, she survived, but she died 18 days later, presumably in a hospital. The next year on March 4th, Rigo was with his girlfriend at the time, at a cinema on Sankova Street. They were returning home on a trolleybus. Suddenly, on the trolleybus, Ondrej told his girlfriend that he needed to take care of something, and he got off. He did not return until the next morning. He found a porch house on Obchodna Street. He broke in, found a 67-year-old woman, Matilda Yu, and her. Hours after Matilda and returning home, he went to his job at Hotel Carlton. He was a cloakroom attendant at the hotel. As he was working, he was caught by Slovak criminal police. They saw he wasn't wearing any socks, as he used them on his hands when Matilda. He still had blood stains on him.
He was still in a trance, like a snake who just swallowed its prey. There were traces of blood on his shoes and trousers, and inside his locker, There were jewels belonging to the victim.
He claimed the blood that was still on him was syrup, and that the sperm found in Matilda's corpse was arranged by a prostitute from an erotic club. He said that his footprints beneath the balconies and cigarette butts were there by complete chance, and that he had to urinate outside. Not only that, but he said he was also outside of those buildings because he just happened to be curious and wanted to look through some windows. After searching his home, they found the stolen jewelry, which he said were gifts given to him by women. Jenna B., the only survivor of his, saw his face and immediately identified him. German, Dutch, and Czechoslovakian police were initially investigating the crimes before identification individually, but started working together. After he was identified, Ondrej was sentenced on the 7th of December, 1994, by the City Court of Bratislava, after a 10-day trial. As his file and crimes were being recounted to the court, Ondrej did not have any reaction. Peter Samko led a senate that would sentence Ondrej to life imprisonment in the 3rd class, meaning the highest security a prison could get in Slovakia. 194 different witnesses gave testimonies of what they saw. As his file of 5,500 pages and crimes were being recounted to the court, Ondrej did not have any reaction. He was leaning slightly forward, sitting rigidly, with a straight, emotionless face. DNA from blood and sperm cells were presented to the court. Then came the sentencing. The sentencing was chosen directly based off of the amount of proven and how grotesque the fashion in which they were was. The possibilities of resocialization were quite limited. Jenna B. attended his trial wearing a wig, to not be recognized by Rigo, out of fear. Ondrej, trying anything he could to avoid jail time, tried to appeal the court's sentence. Ondrej Rigo pleaded not guilty throughout the trial. Rigo claimed innocence in his appeal to the first order court's sentence. He gave no evidence or proof as to why he believed he was innocent. Ondrej's appeal process began on February 27, 1996. Rigo's guilt was proven once more in the appeal process. During Rigo's finishing speech, the representative of the General Prosecutor's Office of Slovakia, Ivan Sedges, had a proposal asking to confirm the life imprisonment sentence. On the 28th of February, the Senate of the highest court of Slovak Republic denied the appeal and confirmed the life imprisonment sentence. He was no longer allowed to appeal the sentence ever again. After serving several years in Ilava prison, Rigo was transferred to the Leopoldov prison on Gutsmanova Street, where he remained for quite a while. Anton Heretic was the court-appointed psychologist ordered to evaluate Ondrej Rigo. He was found to be a psychopath, as expected.
He does not accept any social norms. He's lacking empathy and behaves very impulsively. At the same time, he's a schizoid personality, unable to create relationships with others. He has strange thoughts and hobbies, and he's a loner. He's a combination of a schizoid and an antisocial psychopath, creating a very dangerous type of criminal.
Ondrej wasn't found to be a sadist by multiple psychologists. According to his profile, the lack of hospitality and language barrier in a foreign country possibly influenced some of his behavior. Josef Vahalek, Rigo's investigator, said that he had a low IQ and very rarely spoke. Whilst in Ilava prison, he was behaving to the norms most of the time. But Daniel Blaszko, a pedagogist from Ilava prison, said he would oftentimes react too aggressively. Chances for his correction are zero, said Blaszko. It was very difficult for everyone to communicate with Ondrej because he wasn't communicating in coherent sentences. He was in prison from December 7th, 1994 until June 14th, 2022. The most prolific serial killer and necrophile in Slovak history, Ondrej Rigo, died on the 14th of June, 2022.